but I really missed is the groan tube.
Jesus.
Welcome back to another edition of Zero Block 30. Today we have 5 rounds in the magazine. Round number 1, it's with heavy heart. I must announce that the squad is getting old, but we were also young at the greatest time to be young. That's pre-internet, pre-cell phones, and smack dab right in the middle of the N64 era. We're going to talk about some of our favorite things from that era. Round number 2, Katie Fun Bar Facts lead you into the weekend, ending with the hottest weed before the Roman times. A magical, all-encompassing plant that was part condiment, part condom, put on coins, smuggled and stolen, sold on the black market, and has mysteriously vanished.
Can we time out for a second? Because you didn't say the most important part of the show. The reason these rounds are going to be so weird and
I was
wacky.
going to do it at the end, Kate.
Well,
I was going to do it at the end.
It's
Guess
context
we're gonna do it right
here.
now.
By the
like,
way,
do
my
you think
round.
the normal listeners is going to be like, what? They aren't talking about unicorn farts in round 1 and how that relates to a company gunny that chaps had in 1995. Like, that's not what we usually do.
My round has gay orgies. It's got weed. It's got
All
fun
of
bar
these,
facts.
neither one of those would have come across as being strange to the listener, I don't think.
No, not at all, actually.
Can I continue, Kate?
Fine.
500 shows. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. Unbelievable here. Round number 3. If you have hate in your heart, let it out. So now was the point that I was going to tell Kate. We're doing rounds, and I let each an individual, like the producers, the content people here, we all got to pick a round to have. And of course, Cons does the laziest one of all. Just do a 3-people list. Unbelievable, Cons. Everybody else sussing the stuff out. The officer, leave it for the enlisted people.
I'm sorry, what was that? What did you just say?
Round number 4. Huh?
What did you just say?
I said clearly now I said, everybody come up with a topic, and Cons is like, I'm going to do one that we've done 17 times already.
Yeah, and I erased that one.
Unbelievable. Round number 4, as a longtime listener of the show, all of you know I have loved my time in Japan. Because of that, I want to tell you about a little sumo wrestler fact. Sumo wrestlers over there, by the way, if you go to there's all these places. One just opened up in San Antonio. It's an all-you-can-eat sushi place that has these. I'm sure you've seen it, like the little trains that go around.
Oh yeah.
If a sushi dude or if a sumo dude walks in there and they sit down, everybody else is just like, "Fuck it, we'll leave." Like, because they eat so much and they get first priority. Like, they stick them right whenever everything starts to come out. So the sumo dude is just like grabbing shit, and everybody else is just like, "Oh, we're the fuck out of here. This dude's gonna eat like a mountain."
Oh, hell yeah. I've watched some sumo wrestling. There's a documentary about the wrestlers and how they gain weight, but I'm sure you'll kind of get into it. It like actually really gets your heart pumping. Like, it's actually really exciting to watch.
Oh, yeah. And some of the things at those sushi spots, too. Did you guys know they do raw horse?
No, but that doesn't surprise me.
No, it was the only time that I really felt bad there. Like, I sat down, I was like, oh, this is pretty good. What is it? And the lady was telling me what it was in Japanese, and I don't remember what the word was. And one of my buddies was like, "That's horse, dude. Like, it's horse."
That's like we were eating foie gras in France, and Alex was eating it begrudgingly because of the way that they have to prepare it and make it, get to it by torture.
We're having all kinds of issues. My TV's falling apart. My TV keeps turning off in and out, which is my monitor. I can't see shit right now. I'm flying in the dark. I have no idea who's on the screen, what to read next. Kate, what's round number 5?
Even
4?
your camera's blinking.
Yeah,
you're
you're
blinking out.
You're going
it's
in and
okay.
out,
Let's
buddy.
pretend this episode is a plane, and
Oh
we're just
my
gonna
God.
try and land it. Okay, we're
Oh
gonna try
my
and
God.
land it. I got the controls, buddy. Hang on. I got
Okay.
the controls. I'm the A
Oh!
driver. I got it.
Let's do it again.
The wheels
What
are
is
coming
happening?
down. We're going to land this thing, and we're going to have a good time doing it. Gosh darn it. Even if there's a little turbulence along the way, it's Friday. We're feeling good. Come on. And you're blinking around town. Something with your wiring is askew.
Oh my God. I don't know what's going on here. I think my TV is about to shit the bed. Okay. All right. So, and finally, round number 5.
You know what would be exciting, but not exciting?
What?
Like if a group of masked men suddenly just came and took you.
Yes.
It feels like the start of something bad for you.
Yes, if Chaps got abducted, that'd be great content for us.
But think of the views.
Yeah, seriously. Man, abducted live
the
on
wires
podcast.
in your yard right now to come in.
Oh no, it's doing it again. What the fuck? What am I supposed to do? I don't know what to do.
You can still record. Kate can read through the sheet. I don't think there's too much on the sheet.
Yeah.
Oh, I got a lot.
Oh, there's a
you
lot.
worry.
Well, for you.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to round. Oh, and it's all presented by our good friends at Whistle Pig. If you haven't tried Whistle Pig yet, I'm gonna need a Whistle Pig after recording this piece of shit show. Unbelievable. If you want to get some Whistle Pig for the weekend, you
gonna
should.
be one of those.
Oh my God, it's 100% from it's state grown rye whiskey. It's delicious. You know what? You keep going with the ad read. Tell them about Whistle Pig. I'm going to no, I can't because I got to go to a motherfucking appointment. And that's the reason why we're recording earlier.
Chaps, my friend, everything is going to be A-okay. We're doing
it's 100%
just fine.
rye whiskey, perfect for sipping and mixing. This one is truly, truly amazing. Make sure that you get it. It's great as an old fashioned or whiskey ginger. And fun fact, there's a new drink that I've been sipping on lately. I get the limeade from Trader Joe's. That's super, super sweet typically. So I do like an ounce of that, 2 ounces of sparkling water, and then a little bit of whiskey. It's a lovely little switch up on a drink that I have been having lately. It's a nice little cocktail. You can do all that too by going to shop.whistlepigwhiskey.com or get it from your local realtor. All right. We finally, it seems like things are calming down. Everybody
the storm.
relax.
The stewardesses are coming back down the aisle, and stewards.
They're getting out of the jump seats.
They're
Which
passing
is a
out
fucked
Whistle
up
Pig.
thing. Like if you were going through and there's all kinds of turbulence, and the next thing you know, you hear somebody, flight attendants, get into your jump seats. You're like, oh shit, things are going down here.
Yeah, things.
But we're not going down.
No.
We're staying above. Yeah, we're
handing out the Biscoff cookies as we speak.
Everything's gonna be fine. Nobody worry at all. We're about to learn about Roman weed, not Roman swipes, but Roman weed. What do we got, Kate?
Okay.
Or we're just skipping round one.
Oh God, yeah. What are we doing? Oh, round number 1. That's on me. Fucking asshole.
This is one of those episodes where sometimes like we are all fucked up and Chaps is carrying a lot of stuff. And I can tell like we're in trouble a little bit and we're fucking up. And this is one of those shows.
I usually keep it together when I have personal fucking dramas going on. Dude, I'm so tired of therapy. I'm so sick of it.
Let's start there.
I'm just so sick of it. Like constantly talking about how I feel about stuff. Leave me alone, doctor. And I've been going back and forth with Telemind and all these different people back and forth. Listen, I tweeted out a couple months ago that I've been having trouble finding my a good psychiatrist here. Like the dude constantly changes appointments on the last day. And when he does that, I only have like 2 days of medicine back and then I have to figure it out. And then I've already gone off. So then in my brain, I'm like, oh, fuck it. Maybe I don't need antidepressants anymore. I'm feeling
running out cold turkey of antidepressants is fucking rough, dude. I've been there and it sucks.
I was talking yesterday. You can't get a boner with antidepressants, which makes you even more depressed. I got to talk to this guy yesterday. Finally. Well, I told you, I texted you all, I guess it was like 2 or 3 days ago that I started with a new therapist as well. This new therapist, terrible fit. Just an awful fit for me. Like
O'Malley was just talking about, she just had one that was not a good fit who we work with. It is a process. It's like dating. You got to find the right one. And when you don't, it sucks.
I really felt like in this therapy that I was basically an MMA fighter who was getting my fucking ass kicked for the first 3 minutes of the round. And you know, when they're getting up and they're standing against the cage and they're trying to clinch so that they can catch their breath. And then you see them glance up at the clock and they're like, oh, and you can see the look of defeat on their face. I was in 20 minutes with this new therapist and was up against the cage doing a Muhammad Ali style rope-a-dope and they're getting absolutely fucked. And I had read an article earlier that day. If you're on a phone call that you don't want to be on and it's uncomfortable to get out, just switch into airplane mode and it'll say call failed instead of call dropped or call ended.
Oh, interesting.
So it gives you a way out. And so I was thinking, I wonder if my therapist here, if I go Wi-Fi unconnect or turn my computer into airplane mode, if I could just get the fuck out of here. But I said, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be a motherfucking coward. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tell this dude, you're not a fit for me, pal. I find you to be boring. Like, I don't want to talk to you. And I did it. I stopped it at 20 minutes and I was like, I need somebody else. This isn't going to work for me.
Good for you, dude. Because also I'm going through this right now myself, where we all preach how awesome it is to speak to somebody, get therapy, get the help you need. And I stand by that. We all stand by that. But there are times when going to therapy feels like a burden in and of itself, because chaps, like you said, sometimes you don't want to just talk. Sometimes you want to just be quiet and not say a word. And you don't want to go talk about, hey, here's all the bad stuff that's going on. Granted, when usually, for me at least, I'll speak for myself, when I do go and I get all that off my chest, I always feel better. But when I see it on my calendar, like,
you're like, fuck that
therapy. I did 4 intakes. 4 intakes in a week and a half, dude.
Yeah,
that's like a lot.
And that's you're explaining everything that's basically happened into your life that could have made you fucked up along the way.
Yep.
And it's every single thing. And I just want to be like, shut up. And so the last time that I did it, it was supposed to be a psychiatrist. It was a therapist too. And like, I didn't realize it until the end, because on my little intake sheet, it said psychiatrist. And then at the end, I was like, well, do we want to talk about prescribing medication? And she was like, oh, I'm a clinical social worker. I don't have the ability to prescribe. And I was just like,
oh my God,
motherfucker, dude, just anybody give me my Vyvanse back, for fuck's sake. I have ADHD like crazy. I can't concentrate on shit. Anyway, so I found this list. Nikki the Good's topic that he wanted to talk about was a little bit of nostalgia from the 90s. And so I found a list.
Great transition.
Thank you very much. So
go back to the 90s before therapy was cool.
Yeah, exactly right. Whenever you needed toys and the only thing that was going to make you happy was getting baptized for the 3rd time and fucking talking about Santa Claus and what he was going to bring you. Like, that was the only thing that really got me going. But I do remember some hit toys off the top of your dome. Your favorite toy that you ever received as a gift. Cons, will start with you.
The original Nintendo, Christmas 1989. Easy.
That's a good one. Nicholas?
The Ninja Turtles, the sewer. Like when you got to have
oh yeah,
fantastic.
That was a good one.
Call.
That was a good one.
Katie?
Original Nintendo. That was like the Christmas I vividly remember. A lot of them blend in, but I remember coming downstairs and being like, holy fuck. We had the duck hunt guns. Duck hunt guns that we would smash up right against the glass of the TV. And my dad would be like, hey, cut it out. You're hitting the duck. Oh yeah.
You know, it would kind of be sweet if there was a movie that took our childhood, like the gifts that we got, like the fucking Teddy Ruxpins that were huge and the My Buddies and the Nintendos and shit like that. If you put modern technology into us, like on Christmas morning, where little Katie with her fucking 3rd grade mullet runs out of her parents' room in October. And
giant mole on my face.
October.
She sees the Nintendo sitting there. And next thing you know, it's Kate's like Instagram story from her as like a 6-year-old. What she would have done as like an Instagram person. I think that shit would be cute as fuck. But I have a list and I just want to go through and see if you guys actually had any of these gifts or not. The first one up, I know for a fact that Kate did. It's a Talk Boy.
Oh yeah, it was the first thing I ever bought with my own money. I used my communion money to buy this Talk Boy. And
if you're racking your brain, what's Talk Boy? That's the one that Kevin McAllister talks in Home Alone.
In Home Alone 2, he uses it. And I think that was one of the first movies to create a toy to be part of the movie just to sell it after the movie. Like that toy was created specifically to sell when Home Alone came out.
I nearly bought one on eBay for like $250 this year because McCartney is so obsessed with Home Alone, and they have some still on like eBay. But I went to go and I read the fine print. It was like, doesn't work. And
if I can find mine, it's all theirs. I'll look through.
Oh my God, they would shit their
I will look through because you would record and then it would make your voice slow and deep, or you can speed it up and go really fast. It was basically a voice recorder. That
was Christmas of '93 that I got that. That was
if I was a journalist, I like to think that that's what I would use to talk to my interviews. All right, what do you have to say?
It would work like in some of these interviews where you need to have like super secret shit or somebody doesn't want to give their identity or something like that. That would be great. The king of the cool.
Well, you know, too, you know how like you and your friends, like when video and photos like first came out, like me and my friends would go out at college and then the next day we would get a kick out of going to our Imgur or whatever and looking at all our photos on like Pics, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
That was the very first. You and your friends would record funny stuff and then listen to yourselves back, and you would just laugh and laugh and laugh. I feel like that was like the first like self-obsessed kind of thing.
And a lot of that really kicked off into high gear with like comedy shit after the Tom Green show, because that's essentially all his show was him interviewing his friends or fucking with his parents and things like that. Me and my buddy Josh used to do that in college. It was so much fun.
Oh yeah. Good one, Talk
great.
Boy.
All right. So next toy, regular Game Boy. Anybody have that? I did.
No, I never had one.
Nope.
Well, I stole it from Derek White. He was my pal. But my mom didn't make me give it back because I said that he was the fair and square. So Nintendo 64. I did not have that. We couldn't afford that one. That was a big one.
My video game systems stopped at Sega, but I had plenty of friends with N64. So that was probably actually the last gaming system that I legitimately played games on was Sega and N64.
We never went past Nintendo, and we didn't have cable till I was like 15.
We didn't have cable till high school.
Yeah.
Well, I was in high school.
But that's perfect time so you can watch TRL.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which Tom Green with the Bum Bum song, bringing it full circle, he knocked out all of the boy bands out of the spot. Like if you remember, like it was constantly like NSYNC verse, Britney.
My bum is
exactly.
Look at me. My bum is on the
And then he came in with
my
that
bum
song.
is on the Swedish. My bum
Swedish.
And he broke the streak. And he
Yep.
took the number 1 spot on TRL.
Yep.
When he goes to Japan, he's like, I want the noodles, Daddy. The noodles. Give me the noodles, Daddy. I just want the noodles. What about Sky Dancer, Kate? Did you have that?
What's a Sky Dancer?
Never heard of it.
Oh, wow. So Sky Dancer is a little fairy that you pulled in. You pull the string like a weed eater, and next thing you know, it flies up.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
No, I did not have that.
I think
but
we
that
might
was
have had,
very
my
popular.
sisters might have had one of those, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I had one of those, and my sister had one, and I pulled it in the yard, and it went up on the roof, and she got mad.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, speaking of sisters, I remember my sisters got the Barbie video game one year for Christmas, and I ended up playing it more than anybody else. And my friends would come over like, "Why do you have the Barbie game?" It's like, "Ah, it's my sisters. I don't know."
Yeah, I don't know. They're playing it on me.
I don't know.
Now
how I
you
got
wouldn't
in
have to
there.
do
I
that
don't
because
play
you can play your Barbie game with pride, my friend. Nintendo GAC was another one. That was
Oh,
Remember
good.
GAC? Yeah.
The best
Making the fart
noises.
sounds in the cup.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, one that's not on this list, but I really missed is the groan tube.
Jesus.
That won't be a gift.
When the whole squad gets gacked.
And the words groan tube are the worst.
Can we say something we've never said on this show? I might get in trouble for this one.
Uh-oh.
Queefs are fucking hilarious.
They are so funny. They are so funny.
They're so funny.
They're so funny.
When a rogue queef happens, it's just like, this is fucking silly. Look at us just being
You have
silly.
to. I'll say it. I've quiffed a couple times in my life. Okay.
Yeah.
When it happens,
Quivering.
ladies, you have to acknowledge it. You have to
Yeah.
time out for a second and be like, I queefed.
Sometimes I'll
And then
say,
you get right
that was
back
my
to it.
bussy.
Say, sorry about my bussy. And then we get right back to it.
That's exactly right. You do
Sure.
a little bussy goofing. The classic Tamagotchi. You have the classic Tamagotchi.
I never had one, but huge controversy in school because they had to get the teachers had to pull the Tamagotchis away from kids. That was like the
Yep.
first time.
There was news stories about it.
If you were in school, they were like distracting for kids, and like the teachers would collect your Tamagotchi before class.
Yeah, which teachers thinking that they have the right to do that is insane. Like the same thing with cell phones. Like back in the day when you confiscated somebody's shit, it was like a yo-yo that cost 99 cents. I'll be damned if one of my kids' teachers is confiscating a $1,300 iPhone. Get the fuck out of town. You crazy?
Wait, I need to know. I need to hear from teachers if they actually take phones or if they maybe.
They do.
Do they really?
Yeah. And my
Well, what
kid's
are they
teacher
going to do
wrote-
if your kid won't get off their phone?
in ninth grade, Kelsey, one of Kelsey's teachers was like, Kelsey looked at her phone during class. I confiscated it and she could have it at the end of the week. I was like,
End of the week?
No, give it to her now. Like, it's
Yeah,
not
what?
your item. Are you insane? Like, no, you cannot do that. Next up, this is one that I always saw on the Nickelodeon commercials, and you guys will definitely remember it if you ever watch Nickelodeon. the moon shoes that had like the trampolines
Yep.
on the
Oh
inside.
man.
I
I
would've
wanted-
killed for those.
I wanted a pair of those so fucking bad. And
So
in my
bad.
mind, it would be like a trim. And then I finally went to a kid's house who had them and they sucked.
Yeah, they
Like, you
stunk.
couldn't do
They
anything
absolutely
on 'em.
stunk. You didn't
Dude,
get
if
any
Nick
sort of
had
height.
one of those, he'd be like 6 feet tall.
Oh
Mm.
man.
It's my round 2, and I'm taking ricochet shots in my own fucking round.
Own round, damn it.
All right. Next one, the classic Super Soaker. And when I say Super Soaker, what colors pop into your mind? Like if you like, we've talked about the platonic view of the forms, and we're not going to get into a platonic relationship again. Kate, you remember how messy that got when we talked about that?
Total mess.
Controversy.
Big time, pal.
The perfect Super Soaker. What color do you think it is?
It was orange and green. It was the Super Soaker 200.
Yeah, neon colors, neon orange, neon yellow.
So
Neon.
close, Cons. The bright yellow
Yep.
with the green tube on top.
That's no, I'm sorry. That's whatever the colors of the 200 was with the two
Yeah,
tubes.
that's it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, then yellow. Sorry, not orange, yellow.
I
and
still
green,
remember
yeah.
my dad had this old brown and white Ford F-150 and he worked at the local hospital, like administration side or whatever. Not that has anything to do with anything, but we'd get home from school and in the summertime and springtime, we'd be playing. It was the kind of thing where like, I always got pumped to see his truck turn up the driveway and I would wait. I'd be like out in the yard waiting for him to come home or waiting by the door. And it was towards the end of the school year and my brother and I are outside. We're like playing in the yard waiting. And we see the truck coming up the driveway. And he's like, I got something for you guys. He opened up the trunk and he had the giant Super Soakers with the backpack,
Oh,
with
wow.
the
I was just gonna
jugs,
say,
with the
I
asked
guns, with the whatever.
Yeah, dude.
I remember being like, this is going to be the best summer
I had
ever.
that one, Kate.
Fuck.
I had
Oh,
that.
I
one.
never had that one.
I asked for the Super Soaker, the yellow with the green, because all my buddies in
Yeah.
base housing is prime Super Soaker area because none of your
Oh,
dads want you
yeah.
to grow up to be pussies, so they put you out there with water guns and shit.
Give you guns,
barefoot,
right.
so you're stepping on bumblebees and crying about
Mhm,
it.
mhm.
But I had the Super Soaker 3000 is what it was called.
Yep, the
that-
3000.
It had 2-liter backpacks or big tubes on it that you could stick 2 liters.
That's
of water
actually
in.
the reason we all have fucked up backs now. It's not, we were carrying around like 14 gallons of water before our spines were fully
And
developed.
I would absolutely pump that thing until it was like almost impossible to budge. And I would go up to somebody right in the back and be like, and it would come off like a fucking fire.
I just got chills.
Like a pressure
I got
Yep,
chills thinking
yep.
about this.
We have,
Shit hurt. Like
You're
you
right.
mean coming across like, yeah, like right in the neck.
oh, if somebody got you in the ear, you'd be like, Mom. Yeah, that. So as a young officer child, Cons would actually sit on the patio and watch the other, he'd tell the other children how to attack,
yes.
but he
All the
Yes,
other
I'd
kids would be doing
supervise.
pass and review with the
he had
Super
water
Soakers.
balloons for artillery effect, but that was it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly right. And the last one that we'll talk about here, this was my overall #1 favorite childhood toy that I had for long periods of time. I enjoyed.
Oh, can
other
I say,
things.
is it your Stretch Armstrong?
No, not Stretch Armstrong.
You got your penis caught in that, right?
No, that was He-Man.
Oh, pardon me. Sorry.
Yeah.
Carry
I had a
on.
He-Man sword. That was great.
Okay.
That also was Christmas of '89.
Yeah,
the
I had
He-Man
one of
sword.
those too. I love. Did you guys ever have the Creepy Crawly's bug machine?
100%.
I remember those commercials though.
Creepy
Creepy
crawlers.
So awesome. I loved having a Creepy Crawly. And
What,
then
you made
the
the
toy
bugs?
that destroyed so many shin bones across the landscape, the Skip It.
Skip
Let's
It.
not forget the Skip It.
Yep.
Oh man, skip it.
I'll
was
tell
great.
you another huge one for me, that brilliant move by my parents. They got me like there was some shitty pogo sticks out there that sucked, but
Mm.
they got me that neon green and pink one that they would be like, why don't you and your brother go in the garage and see who can bounce to 1,000 first? And we'd be like, oh boy, okay. And then we go in the garage.
Mom,
They shut the door.
I got 12. I got 12, Mom.
Yeah.
I need 12.
We spent like a whole month trying to get to who could bounce to 1,000 out in the garage, playing like Y100 on the radio, like listen to radio out there bouncing around while they were like just chilling probably. I don't know, but that was
I'd
very
love to do
smart.
that. Listening to DC talk, it'd be incredible.
Oh yeah, it was
Listen
a
to a
good
little
time.
Jesus freak, it'd be amazing.
I have a toy that I think really was what gave us all our independence.
A dildo. No, sex toy.
Just your bike. Like
Uh.
you back then, you could just get on your bike and disappear for hours.
I
The
think
Huffy
about
Mudslinger.
I think about how far we used to go when I was a kid. Because back in the day, my mom's like, all right, see you guys at sundown, like, because we live like in the boonies. So it's like, what trouble? We would go like, I look now driving back home and I'm like, oh my God, I'm 15 miles from home right now. We used to ride our bikes here. We would go to farmers' farms without asking and like climb the fence and feed animals and shit. Like we used to do all kinds of shit.
Well, because
Kelsey was saying that the other day. She's been watching Stranger Things, and Kelsey is nearly 17. She was like, was the 80s like this? And I was like, yeah, dude, like me and all my pals had bikes that were just like that. And we would ride them through the woods. We would ride them to the little arcade on base, to the movie theater on base, to the gas station on base. We would go anywhere, like to the Chesapeake Bay, and be fishing for like fucking whatever out there. It was incredible.
But now as an adult, you go outside and you think about, all right, how far do I have to walk or drive or run, whatever. You just got on your bike and went. You didn't think about how far you had gone. You didn't think like, oh, maybe I should drink some
or
water
even think
because
if
I'm
you were
thirsty.
tired.
Exactly. Yeah. You didn't even consider being tired. You just kind of kept going.
I didn't know you could get tired on a bike.
Right.
Like as a young person,
Yeah.
if I saw my old self, because I got a bike about a year ago where I wanted to go, because when I moved to the hill country, I wanted to go up and down and see if that was a terrible idea. I knew I was never ever going to actually ride bikes and shit like that. But I thought, man, I've ridden like half a mile and I'm winded as shit. Like, what is going on out here? This is unbelievable.
Yeah.
But that was
Can
life.
Can I make one more point on this round?
Yes. Yeah.
The one thing that fascinates me the most about this time period is like consumption. Like if you wanted a CD, right, you only heard that single, which means if you had, and they were like $22 at the time to get a CD.
It was expensive.
So that means you had to risk a potential shitty CD. You had to take all the money you had, travel to like a Sam Goody, go to the mall, buy the CD, not knowing if the rest of it was going to be good.
Yeah.
To me, that's like wild.
One of the first CDs I ever got was Chumbawamba because that song, I get knocked down, but I get up again. And then the rest of the CD fucking sucked. And I was like, God damn it. That was 3 hours of babysitting down the fucking drain. Yeah.
Yeah. When you look at how much because minimum wage when I started working was $5.15 an hour. Like, and to get a $20 CD, like you're talking about working for fucking 4.5 hours.
Oh yeah.
Grocery carts at Winn-Dixie to do that.
The other big fuck up, I went out and bought the Matchbox 20 CD. You or someone like you thinking it had that, if you were the ocean under the moon, well, it's the same as
Smooth, yeah. And that was on
It was on Santana's. I listened to the whole
Supernatural.
CD and I said, is it a secret fucking track? Where is this song? Nowhere.
Oh, but nothing got you going like a secret track. That
Alanis Morissette.
When it comes, you're uninvited.
When she's in his shower.
Now and yeah. All right, let's move on to round number 2, which today is Katie Fun Bar Facts. What do we got, Kate?
Okay, so this round, because Chaps last night was like, everybody just pick something fun. Pick a random ass round. We're going to take a break, take our minds. It's okay to step away from the news for a second here. And so I thought, well, one of my favorite things is just having random facts to tell people. You guys know this. I love being able to point at something and be like, did you know? And especially back when I used to go to like hole in the wall bars all the time, it was like my icebreaker sometimes. So I was like, oh, we're going into the weekend. It's Friday. Let me give people some fun bar facts that'll get panties dropping and boxers.
Hell yeah.
And so I started doing that. And I had a few, and then I came across one that sent me down a rabbit hole. So I'm going to read you a couple of these fun bar facts, and they're like Snapple facts. Maybe they're true. Maybe they're not. It doesn't matter.
Do you want us to guess if they're true or not?
Sure. I won't have the answer for you, but yeah.
Well, if you made it up, it's not one of those ones where you threw in something like, oh, a gerbil actually does this.
No, these are actual ones I found online, but the internet, you never know. But then we get to the main one.
Fact check.
Chimpanzees and humans have on average the same number of hairs per square inch of skin. Theirs is just thicker, whereas hairy as a monkey we are.
Yeah, because think about even people who are, hairless, they still have very fine hair.
Oh,
a lot of times.
We're covered in the same amount as a monkey or a chip, whatever.
Interesting.
Lego is the biggest manufacturer of tires in the entire world.
Oh,
nobody makes more tires than Lego, even though they're teeny tiny little.
Who makes the most doors though?
Probably Lego, right?
Probably Legos. Yeah.
Probably Lego.
Yeah.
Because that's like a universal worldwide Lego. It's like a huge thing. This is a silly orange fact. In English, the color was named after the fruit. So back in olden times, that's what the fruit was called, an orange. And that's why we call the color orange today orange. So it wasn't the other way around. Before that, orange was treated as a shade of red. They considered it red. And that's why gingers, like chaps, are called redheads, even though your hair is orange, not red.
Huh.
That's true.
Yeah. EDM music. There's been studies that show it can ward off mosquitoes. There's even a video where Skrillex's Scary Monsters and Nice Sprites has caused species of mosquitoes to act abnormally. They've done studies on it.
Speaking of mosquitoes, I saw this new device that I'm thinking about getting on. And if any of the listeners have it, I want to know how it actually works. There's this propane device that you put like it's a big old bucket at the end on it, and it's supposed to smell in a certain way where it really draws in the mosquitoes. These things are supposed to take out like a whole acre of mosquitoes, and they'll all come to this little thing, and then you give them to your chickens.
I've seen.
I don't have chickens, but I would like to have all those mosquitoes dead.
Did you see that on TikTok? Because that's where I saw it. This lady is holding like a trash bag full of mosquitoes. She's like, we just got this in one day from the yard from using this thing. It's insane.
And that's what I want to get is one of those things.
Yeah, it's crazy. Opossums have 13 nipples arranged like a clock with one in the center. That's unsettling. That's upsetting.
Oh,
tell that to a lady at the bar.
If you're the baby possum and you get the fucking money nipple,
if you get the middle nipple, you're the king. You're the king,
king of the castle. Castle. You'll never get this.
Yeah, looking around at the other ones. Okay, one more fact, and then we'll get into my rabbit hole fact.
Goddamn, Ricky always gets the middle nipple.
If each properly shuffled deck of 52 playing cards in the entire world.
Oh, this is one of my favorite facts of all time. If this is the one I'm thinking of, I'm so excited.
They're all produced the same. So they're all like every 52 playing card deck ever goes out into the world. No other deck, and then it gets shuffled. No other deck of cards in the history of the world or that will ever be in that same order as the deck that you shuffled.
Yeah,
Agwashi said
statistically improbable things that there is.
It's called look up the 52 factorial. No matter what, this could be the same guy who shuffles the exact same way 10 times, but it will still never, ever, ever shuffle the same. Which is crazy to think about.
That's bananas.
Really is.
Finally, this is the one that sent me down.
These are great three chief facts too. Honestly,
they really are.
And this is if you didn't do it before, go back and listen to it again. It'll blow your mind.
It'll blow your mind. And this is the one that sent me down a rabbit hole, which actually in a roundabout way does tie into the military because we'll get to it eventually. But this led to me figuring out why poppies are the flower represented as the flower of remembrance for the world wars over in Europe. So this one, Romans had a plant available to them that was a great birth controller. Yet since they had so much sex, it eventually went extinct. Wow. And so then people started talking about, oh yeah, the Greeks and orgies and blah, blah, blah. That's historians believe this is why olive oil became so popular because they used it. So they were just back in the day, they were just fucking around. Anyway, I'll skip all this crazy stuff that I added.
Goddamn Greeks.
But long story short, the plant is called silphium, this magic plant. And so I went to look it up. I'm like, well, what was the plant? Because the person didn't say. And I found this whole interesting world about silphium from BBC History. Has this like interesting series on all sorts of stuff. Long ago in the ancient city of Cyrene, there was an herb called silphium. It just had stout roots, stumpy leaves, some small yellow flowers, but it oozed with an odoriferous, smelly sap that was so delicious and useful that the plant was worth like more than gold. It was like the fucking thing. They would roast, saute, and boil the stalks and eat it like a vegetable. They would dip the roots in vinegar and eat those. It was a preservative for other stuff. When they fed it to sheep, the flesh of the sheep, they said it was like Wagyu. Like they became like the most expensive sheep, the sheep that were fed this stuff. The flowers created like a really popular perfume that everybody used, and its sap was dried.
It's basically like our coconut oil.
Yeah, the sap was dried and grated over dishes from brains to braised flamingo. And the sap was known as laser, which is badass. But basically, laser was their ketchup or their hot sauce. They put that shit on everything. Like any meal had the sap from this plant. Then they used it for medical stuff. So it was a wonder herb, including growths of the anus. I don't know if you've heard of Pliny the Elder, but he recommended like kind of fucking yourself with the roots of this thing to get rid of hemorrhoids, basically. If you got bitten by a feral dog, you rubbed the sap on it. And then it was also in the bedroom. You drank its juice to get turned on. It was like a boner pill. So you drank this laser, you got a boner, or it was applied to, basically it was birth control. According to Riddle, the ancient physician, women would take a monthly dose of silphium, the size of a chickpea, to prevent pregnancy and destroy any, and it was like their Plan B pill, essentially, is what it was. A single dose of the resin from this plant would induce menstruation, rendering women temporarily infertile. And its heart shape, it was used so much for all things sex that the heart-shaped seeds of this plant are thought to be the reason we associate hearts with like love today. Is silphium.
Well,
but
because
the problem,
heart and seed go like
they certainly do. You know what I'm saying?
little seed goofing.
Well, the Romans loved this plant so much, they referenced it in poems and songs and literature. For centuries, local kings held a monopoly on this plant, which basically, it was Cyrene, Libya. This area in Africa was the only place that it would grow. And the Romans, the Greek inhabitants they put this plant on their money. Like their coins were stamped with this shit. It was everything to them. Julius Caesar stored a cache of 1,500 pounds in the official treasury, but it vanished, guys. This plant that was everything to everyone disappeared from the region and possibly from the planet altogether. Pliny wrote that within his lifetime, only one single stalk was found. It was plucked and sent to the Emperor Nero as a curiosity sometime around 54 AD. So there's just a handful of ancient drawings and coins and like all this stuff written about it to go off of, but nobody even knows like what happened.
Well, and 54 AD is right when Nero took over as the emperor of the Roman Empire, is exactly when the destruction of the Jewish temple took place in 70 AD. And many people thought it was because Nero was so drugged out that he just completely lost his mind and became so paranoid. And that was because of the natural drugs in the region. And then he started doing mass crucifixions. And that's the reason why crucifixion became the theme of the time back then.
Really?
Yeah, that's part of partial preterism that it falls underneath. Some of the prehistoric philosophies and predictions in the Bible already took place. It's called preterism.
Well, Nero's probably smoking laser, man. He was probably puffing that laser too hard and things went by the wayside. The problem was this plant only grew in this strip that's like 125 miles by 35 miles. And as it started disappearing, they're like, well, let's gather the seeds. Let's try and do everything we can to farm it. Because it was super popular and it grew everywhere in the wild until they started using too much of it. Nobody could figure out how to grow this shit. And so it became more and more and more rare. And the dried sap, they started selling it like there was like drug dealers. They were called laser dealers, basically. And you'd find them in the back alley and you'd pay a ton of money for this laser. It became super hard to get that thieves would come in the night and go onto people's property and dig it up. And so that made the problem even worse and worse and worse. And they could not figure how to grow it. So often this botanist, modern day botanist, said often the issue is seeds. So take poppies, a single plant of a poppy. And in Afghanistan, they were everywhere. And if you've seen them, they're these bulbs that have a ton of seeds. A single plant can produce up to 60,000 seeds, which means that assuming 90,000 plants are in a single field, 5.4 billion seeds. But they must be exposed to light to grow. Without it, they'll sit there under the ground and just get eaten by animals or begin to rot. And that's why like in Afghanistan, when they were growing, the ground was always like super tilled up and crunchy. And there was air pockets where light could get into and grow. For this reason, poppies thrive on disturbed land where light can peep into the gaps, such as the battlefields of World War I. The ground got so fucked up by artillery fire that's why poppies popped up and grew up where all these battlefields were and became a symbol of World War One. I did not know that. I had no idea.
Wow.
Anyway, have you ever heard of huckleberries in America?
Mhm.
Huckleberries are like that. Every year, hundreds of thousands of people come to America's national parks looking for these huckleberries. They're one of the most coveted fruits on the planet. This sounds dumb, but it's true. I
No.
went down around. I'll get back.
This is the most Kate story. Of all
Yeah,
time.
seriously.
I love it. Like, I imagine you just sitting there scrolling at night, like, this is unbelievable.
I
These
didn't know.
fucking seeds. Oh my God. 5.4 billion seeds. That's so many seeds.
I guess I don't know if this is boy, but I was so
No.
genuinely interested in all this. Then I went down
know,
rabbit hole.
and I think that's why you're fantastic, because these are the type of stories that are Kate is like, these fucking seeds, man. You're not gonna believe these goddamn. Keep going. I need to know more about the
Huckleberries are
Hey, I'll be your
silphium.
huckleberry.
Yeah.
So people actually have gotten in gunfights over these. It's one of the most coveted fruits on the planet. They go for a ton of money. You do a jam, sauces, pies, ice cream, snow cones, daiquiris, even curries, my friends. You can get these huckleberries, and every year demand exceeds supply. But guess what?
What?
There is not one single huckleberry farm on the entire planet. Much like silphium.
This is fucking unbelievable.
Shut the
This is
fuck up.
wild,
You
man.
guys are such dickheads.
Nary a huckleberry farm.
Colonial, not a
I
single
don't
one.
believe it.
Colonial farmers tried to bring it to Europe. They tried, starting in 1906, serious efforts to cultivate this plant. And more than a century later, with all the technology that we have today, we still cannot figure out how to grow this thing in captivity. We can grow the seeds, but when we try to grow them, there's no fruit. So, I mean, take with that what you will, my friends. That's because it's likely a hybrid plant. And when you get a hybrid plant, like obviously a cross between two different things, it will grow on its own, but you can't take the seeds and grow it, if that makes any sense. It can only keep
Makes all
going
the
on its own
sense.
thing. This hybridization only needs to happen once. And from then on, the plants don't grow from seed, but asexually by spreading their roots. And that's why they can't. Anyway, the ancient lust for this silphium proved too much. Pliny the Elder wrote that Roman landlords had been forced to fence off the herb's meadow habitats to stop local sheep from devouring it. But then the sheep herders were like, no, this stuff makes our sheep worth bank. It makes them like the Wagyu cows. So they were tearing down fences at night, sneaking onto people's property to feed their sheep this stuff. It was overharvested, overgrazed, and the Greeks couldn't figure out how to grow it. They had strict rules about how much.
If you'd like to spread your seed, make sure you go to the Barstool Sports Store and pick up one of Kate's lovely onesie that says tired and things like that from her collection that she has there. Also, you can pick up the girl dad, boy dad things for fathers that are coming up. You got a big Father's Day gift coming up. And if you like golfing, if you already picked up your tailor-made golf clubs that we told you about last week, you can pick up any of the polos from the 4Play line. Busting with the Boys has dropped a bunch of stuff, and so did Brianna.
Pizza toy, my one bite pizza toy.
Exactly right. And obviously around pretty soon, closer to 4th of July, ZBT is going to have a new line that comes out as well. So make sure that you're looking for that by going to store.barstoolsports.com.
Take the bluefin tuna, for example. We cannot grow this thing in captivity.
Mm-hmm.
No fish farm ever has been able to make a bluefin tuna. They only hang out off the coast of Libya. And guess how much the most expensive single fish bluefin tuna ever was sold for?
$30,000.
Nearly $700,000.
Holy moly.
So
Wow.
if you guys can figure out how to grow some silphium or some huckleberry or some bluefin tuna, you'll be able to afford a lot of stuff from the Barstool store this year, my friends.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly right, Kate. All right, round number 3. We have
Was
condiment
that
round.
bad?
No, it wasn't good.
fucking
And you know
wonderful.
what the best part about it was, Kate? I'm going to a birthday party here in a couple weeks, and I have a whole litany of
Bushel
topics
of
to discuss
facts.
now.
Thank you.
Hey, you guys are
I'm all
worried about
set.
fucking seeds.
Yeah.
So
These fucking
somebody,
seeds, man.
young whippersnapper out there listening, go drop some of that knowledge at the bar this weekend. Tell me
Yeah.
how it worked out for you.
For
Probably
sure.
sounded like
lady.
a groan tube a couple hours in.
If you're feeling horny like I am, but can't get it up and you don't have access to a Roman sweat, you ever tried seeds?
Seed talk.
Yeah. So as we said at the top of the show, Chaps said, "Hey, everyone, come up with a topic." And admittedly, my first topic, I don't know, I was like busy, and I was like, I just had it written it down. Yeah, whatever.
3 people from the world you'd want to have dinner with.
Oh, Kate, please tell us more things about seeds. Like, I mean, at least it's not that bad. It wasn't that bad.
But at least hers involves some effort.
That's true. That's a good point. But so right when you said that, and I was a little like perturbed, and I was scrolling Twitter, and I saw something that recently has just made me so irrationally angry, and I irrationally hate it. So I want to go through a list of things that I irrationally hate.
I mean, you got to give him another couple years. You have a chance to vote him out eventually. But Ted Cruz is very annoying. I agree with you.
No, I think that's rational. I think that's rational if you don't like Ted Cruz. So the only rule I have is Chaps, you can't say me, and Kate, you can't say that you hate when Chaps poo-poos your stories.
Okay.
That's the only rule.
Fine.
All right. I'll start. And if you guys don't have some, just start thinking of something. But the thing that made me think of this topic was I was scrolling Twitter, and it seems like every day now I see a countdown to football, whether it's college football or the NFL returning. And I hate that. We got so many great sports going right now: baseball, NHL playoffs, Premier Lacrosse League starting this weekend. I think in this country, we are oversaturated with football, and that's coming from somebody who absolutely loves football. We need to stop it. It's too much. Chaps never buttoning any of his buttons on his polos and just wearing them out like John Travolta. You know, that I hate that.
Mm-hmm.
When I see somebody that has a suit on that doesn't fit, or a sport coat that doesn't fit, it's so easy to get
Poor people.
Yeah. Well, do that what you will.
You hate pores.
You.
We hate the pores and the fats.
This one is, I guess, maybe a little targeted, but I'm not going to name any names.
Oh yeah.
People who are on their phone when you're watching a movie with them, and you really like the movie and you're introducing it to them for the first time, but they're on their phone, clearly not paying attention. I hate that. People who stink at putting their luggage in the overhead on an airplane. Just, you need to be better at that.
That's not fair, Cons. A lot of people aren't strong.
No, I'm not talking about people who physically can't do it. I'm talking about the people who like are fidgeting, and they can clearly get it up there, and then they fidget with it for 12 times because they've never been on a plane, apparently. So they need to figure that out.
Nick said he's bracing for a short joke.
No, I don't hate short people.
I get so annoyed with people on a plane that pick the middle seat. Like, why are you sitting in the middle seat? Why would you just not?
You think people actually pick the middle seat?
Do you have to? Like, if you go in there, I would rather not go on a vacation or trip than sit in the middle seat. I swear to God. If I'm going to book a flight and I can't get a window or an aisle, I'll wait a day. Like, I'm just fucking not going in the middle seat.
When you travel with your wife, do you always put her in the middle seat?
No, I have fucking little children.
True.
Little
Yeah. That's a cheat code.
Yeah.
This one's new, and I know this is actually probably going to anger some of our colleagues here at Barstool Sports, but I'm starting to hate Tom Brady and the love for Tom Brady, and like everything he does is just amazing. Like his new clothing line, it kind of stinks. It's plain. It's like whatever. And his NFT, and it's like everything Tom Brady does is not great. But he's a great athlete. He's a very accomplished quarterback, arguably the best ever. But we don't need to just roll out everything Tom Brady does and say it's amazing. So I may start hating him.
I also hate new fangled ideas like Bitcoin and NFTs. I don't like that. I don't understand it. I'm just going to assume it's a scam.
Pat is, I don't want to know how much money has gone into it. I will never ask. I truly never want to know. I never want to know. He lives and dies by it, obsessed with it. NFTs, Bitcoin, all that stuff. Is working on with a group of people right now for their own version of Bitcoin. Like it's everything. And I read the news about it and I'm like, oh my God, it's like the LuLaRoe leggings. Scheme. It's like LuLaRoe legging scheme for men. Oh no, but we gotta trust the process.
You also get some pretty cool looking monkeys.
That's true. That is true. So interested to see. I just holding out hope that I'm a big idiot and then we'll have a pontoon boat someday.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
People, when I watch movies with them for the first time that I find amazing, then they think they're just okay. That one bothers me, and I hate that. People who have conversations on public transportation very loudly, and I think that's very inconsiderate, and I hate you.
Oh, I love it because it gives me something to listen to. What's going on with so-and-so?
I also hate conversationally if somebody's on the phone My mom is the worst. Linda, you gotta stop. Like
Linda.
if she's with me, and if she's with me, and she'll be like, "Oh, here's somebody's on the phone. Here, talk to him. Say hi."
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I don't want to talk to that fucking aunt I haven't spoken to since I was 7. I don't know that bitch.
Right.
Like, I don't fucking
Hate
want
that
Friendly
move.
reminder, I was in the bathroom with someone once who went to go into the stall, handed me the FaceTime they were on and said, talk to her while I'm in the bathroom. It was Megan McCain in her pajamas in
Yes.
bed.
Yes.
I said, hey, whoa, hello, my name's Kate. I don't know what to say to you.
Didn't you hear
All
like a
right.
super loud wet fart too?
That was me.
Oh, okay.
I panicked. It
All right,
was a
2 more.
queef, actually.
2 more.
The old
people-
groan tube letting loose.
That'd be hilarious. Before we go out, there's something that you need to know. So, like, if things progress and
I'm just letting you know, I do queef from time to time. I'll say it. I'll be the brave one to say it.
All right, last 2. People, and we know I've been the victim of this. People who take their shoes off on public transportation.
like, Kate needs to sit in this for a moment.
Kate, I tried to save you. I tried to just
Katie
move on, but
Just... Okay. Okay.
all right.
I had no idea queefs were real. I thought it was just a goof in the
What?
back of the bus. I didn't know. didn't know.
It's a wet pocket.
I
Getting
know, man. I didn't know
slammed
anything
around.
about the vagina. I told you like before. I had no idea that the vagina goes in. I was always super concerned because like when you get boned up and it's up, I was always very nervous. I thought that it should go out because I thought you went like in like this instead of up.
I can't look at you.
So I was like, oh shit, my dick is fucked up. I'm never gonna be able to have unpainful sex.
Seeking
'Cause
woman
I've
with
got to
vertical.
hold it down. Hold it down.
Okay.
I don't know how that works.
That was a concern I had as a young man growing up in America. It was rough.
All right.
I also hate people
ahead.
who
No, go
wear
ahead.
too much cologne.
Ooh,
Yes.
that's a good one.
Oh my God.
Cologne should be subtle, not overpowering.
We had a
Absolutely.
neighbor who wore too much cologne and rode in our car once, and the seatbelt forever smelled like the cologne.
Oh,
And it was
no.
terrible.
Okay.
Yes.
As nearly coming up on 15 years of being a diarrhea haver,
Mhm.
one thing that drives me insane is these butt pussies who make a nest in a public restroom. Just fucking go. Like, don't be putting all kinds of layers of toilet paper. It's your fucking butt, dude.
Gross, dude. Of course I make a nest.
No,
Are
Nah,
you
you just
insane?
gotta wipe it off. You just gotta wipe it off,
Yeah,
and you're
quick
good to hook.
wipe and you're good.
You guys
Yep.
raw dog the toilets in public bathrooms.
Oh, buddy,
Yeah.
I raw dog it. The only place I won't is an absolute. It looks like Picasso was hanging out in a fucking porta john. I won't do it.
A Jackson Pollock.
If the gas station has fountain drinks for less than 69 cents, still, I won't do it. Just because I know it's gonna be fucking revolting in that place.
You two
And-
cons?
Yeah, I wipe it down and make sure there's
expected more
nothing there.
from you. I expected
If
more
there's
from you.
more than if there's more than 3 piss drips, I'll consider a nest.
Yeah, Nick makes a great point. If you're succumbing to using a public bathroom for that, you don't really have time. You're in a bad situation.
Like I never want to go to the bathroom at Target, but sometimes
Right.
I got to go to the bathroom at Target.
Right.
And-
Target's a
and-
delight.
Well,
Uh-huh.
not my Target.
Did you see, side note, Large tweeted about this and several other people were like, oh my God, me too. And as I read it, I thought, oh my God, me too. There's something about a Barnes and Noble
Yeah.
that
There's a
makes
condition that you go in Barnes and Noble and you
Yep.
have to poop.
What is that? Because it's true. Of any store I've ever been in, and I don't go in them often, because I try and save it for home. I don't like shitting out in public. I'm not raw dog. It seems like
That's
you
normal.
guys.
Yeah, we don't
Barnes
want that
and
rumor
Noble,
getting going.
I
Kate
have-
loves shitting in public.
I have exploded those fucking places. Like, barely made it. I
Good
went in the doors
Lord,
fine.
Kate. It's exploding the Barnes and Noble.
Okay.
And you're criticizing us for not making a freaking 4-foot
Oh, I'm
walks in-
sorry.
nest.
Kate walks into the
Oh,
sci-fi
no.
section and explodes. Oh God, Harry Potter's on sale. Mm.
Okay. All right. Fancy
Nancy
people.
Drew, more like Nancy Poo.
Go
I'm not
away.
saying away with thrift stores, but I just puke and cum as soon as I walk inside. It's fucking disgusting.
Okay. Well, I'm saying what other people experience as well. I'm not crazy. It's a thing.
right.
It's a thing.
Okay.
Okay. Let's
All right, last
move
two
on.
things I hate.
Fuck
Sorry,
off.
last two things I hate. And I already said this one, but people who take their shoes off on public transportation, I don't know what you're thinking.
Because you
I
got
don't like
owned
you.
once by somebody.
Yes,
You got
I was just.
absolutely
You need, if you
dummy.
haven't, go back and read that blog that Chaps wrote about the time I got bodied on the train home from DC. And then lastly, people from Staten Island who clog up the shore and just ruin it for the rest of us down there.
You could have just kept it at people from Staten Island, honestly.
Yeah, maybe.
Rico, I don't approve of what they're saying at all. I think you're a delight.
I don't really
Who's
know
that?
anybody from Staten
Who's
Island.
that? Who's that, Kate? That Rico? Who's that?
A lovely man.
Oh, is that guy Terry?
I won't have any of this. I won't be a
All
part
right,
of it.
let's move on to round number 4. Finally, my turn is up. I wanted to tell you a story about sumo wrestlers. One, because I knew this was going to make Kate upset. It comes from Tokyo. Japanese parents watched with glee on Sunday as sumo wrestlers tried to reduce their babies to tears in a century-old ritual believed to bring good health to bawling infants. More than 100 sobbing babies were subjected to the ordeal at Tokyo's shrine, with the doting parents watching happily as amateur wrestlers bounced them up and down in a makeshift sumo ring. Some of the infants between the ages of 6 and 18 months were roared at in their face in a bid to get the tears flowing.
This is
Kate, your initial
horrible.
thoughts?
I would die.
The babies' cries are intended to reach God, and parents hope that their little ones will grow healthy and strong, explained Yoshimi Moriata, priest at the shrine, where screams and squawks filled the air. So if a baby doesn't cry at this event, sumo wrestlers try to make him or her cry on purpose, moving the baby up and down while their parents watch with their pounding hearts. There's no victory nor defeat in this wrestling, and a match always ends with a chorus of Banzai Raku, which means live long. The ceremony dates back some 400 years and is held at shrines nationwide. The rules vary from region to region. In some versions, the babies are raced against each other to see who will cry first, while the others, the first crier is the loser.
Oh,
Goodness gracious. This is terrible.
what if a
Delighted
sumo
mother
wrestler trips in there?
trips
And falls
They-
on the baby.
and falls on the baby?
Oh my God.
Dead.
No, I would never. I would never.
A delighted
You know,
mother
it's-
named May had her son said that her son performed well at Sunday's event. Quote, he's not a baby that cries very much, but today he cried a lot for us, and we were very happy about it.
Like, I'm happy for this mother who's excited that her baby is crying, but not all people are created equal, right? So you traumatize your kid through this experience. What if they grow up and they're the type of person who they can't put on weight, so they'd have no future in sumo wrestling, but you've already subjected them to this
Mhm.
terrible, terrible,
I don't think it has
traumatizing
anything
event?
to do with them being a sumo wrestler. It's just like
Oh.
they bring in the sumo wrestlers because they would be scary
Oh,
to make
Well,
them cry.
oh.
even more.
In America,
Wow.
we do something similar. Every spring, they
Yes.
bring the babies and they lay them on the yellow footprints at Paris Island. And all the drill
Oh.
instructors come out and they knife hand them and they scream at them and whichever babies. I took my
I
son this
thought-
year. He didn't
And
cry.
they
at
also
all.
have the same thing where it's called the end of the season for Yankees fans lately. So
Oh,
Yep,
not
and it's
currently though. Not
enormous
currently, though.
baby.
they're in first place, but they've been in first place a lot in heartbreaking defeats for sure. One thing that they in Japan when we lived there, and this is why I say when I was 22, 23 years old when Kelsey was born. And I grew up with my mom working in like nurseries, being a daycare teacher, working at like vacation Bible schools and things like that. Before I joined the Marine Corps, I worked in a daycare. It was one of the jobs that I had. And so when I went to Japan, I knew a lot about having a baby. For somebody that was 22, a 22-year-old man that was a young Marine, I knew a lot about babies. And so I was constantly quiet. Like our house was quiet. I made sure it was a calm environment for Kelsey at all times,
Mhm.
as much as I possibly could. Well, because it was so quiet for that first 8-12 weeks of Kelsey's life, when she went to daycare, she was not used to all the noises that come along with it. And the old Japanese woman that worked there and was basically like the Japanese version of Miss Rachel, like you got to have an environment at home that kind of matches the daycare where there's going to be noises and things
Mhm.
like that. You can't be just quiet all the time. And so in my young Marine wisdom, like I would see it and I'd be like, oh shit, it's real quiet. And I'd occasionally just go, like to Kelsey. And she'd like get startled and cried. And I'm like, I'm doing a good job. And in reality, I look back now, like maybe she probably would have just done fine with the quiet environment.
Maybe some background music would have been cool.
Maybe just a TV on would have worked.
Yeah, just throw on a soccer match or something. Yeah. But I just would scream from random times.
Well, when I was growing up,
and it'd usually be in my drill instructor, but like the hawk and animal from like
that's honestly, that's very fucked up and terrifying. It's very scary. I loved the movie Pink Panther growing up, the original with Peter Sellers. And he had this guy who like to keep him sharp and fresh and on his toes at all times. He hired this man to live in his apartment whose only job was to hide around the apartment and trying to kill him all the time. So he would always be like, Kato, where are you? Like, blah, blah, blah. And so I thought that was funny. And so my mom,
that would be a great job.
My mom started hiding around the house all the time. And I would come home from school and I'm like 11, 12. And I'd be like, Mom. And from somewhere deep in the house, I would hear, I'd be like, oh, fuck. It was so intense. And then we got super into scaring each other. To this day, we'll both be in the same room with our backs turned to each other talking. We'll turn around and be like, ah! We like scared, like to this day, we have like conditioned each other to be terrified of each other. We like took it way too far. We took it too far. But I think that's why I love scaring people so much now, is because she loved scaring the shit out of me when I was a kid.
It is fun. If you get somebody really good, it's so good.
Best. Yeah.
Yeah, but it depends on their reaction. Annalise hates being scared. It is not worth it. Her reaction is so good, but because it's so good, she gets like legit mad when she gets scared. So there's a firm no pranking mama rule in our house.
It's my reactions when shit scares me is so intense. And sometimes Pat will be like, is that like from Afghanistan or whatever? And I'm actually like, no, I think it's from my mom. Is that not the war? It's my mom. She got me good. Too good.
The War of Virginia.
The War of Virginia. She doesn't mess around, man. Yeah.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to round number 5. Kate, you want to walk us through this one?
Are we talking about bodies?
Big time body chat. Yeah, I'm excited about this one because I brought this up because last week, if you remember our last episode, I talked about wanting to have the heat signature map of all the different places that we go. And when I get to heaven, eventually I want to have all my stats of
your
what
life
I've
stats.
Accomplished in my, like the advanced sabermetrics. I want all that stuff. So this is a precursor of that. What do we got, Kate?
Okay. The average lifespan for Americans is 78.5 years. That is a total.
Do you think you'll over under 78.5?
Oh, no, I'm not making it past. Probably. I say for some reason, the number that keeps coming to me is 54.
Jesus, Kate.
Oh, I hope not.
Sorry.
I hope not.
Sorry. And it'll probably be something dumb like a scooter accident or something. Like it's going to be something stupid.
I think I'll be 67.
That's a good age.
I'm doing 93. Now,
93.
I'd like to make it to 100, but we'll see.
I also want to say there's a crosswalk here that I've almost been hit at like 5 times, even though I jazz hands across it. I just want it said on the show so that if I do get hit and smushed out there, you can play this clip and be like, she did call it. Don't worry. She's fine. She had a sense of humor about it. Please donate to my son. Anyways, the average lifespan for Americans is 78.5 years. That's it. Are you making me read this because there's numbers?
Yeah, that was a big reason. Yeah.
How many seconds is that, Kate?
2 trillion.
No, actually, yes. Sorry,
477,300,000.
That's right, Kate. Well done. Nailed it.
Good job.
Seconds. That's how many seconds that is. By the time I finish reading this sentence, 20 million new cells have just been replaced in your body. 20 million.
That's pretty amazing.
In just a few seconds. And I was reading earlier today, every single one of your cells has the same amount of atoms as there are cells in your body. So every single cell has that same amount of atoms. So you, like whatever. Anyway, compound that over a lifetime and well, your body achieves some pretty incredible feats. Let's start with our largest organ, the skin. It reproduces about 30,000 to 40,000 cells every minute. That's why we had a hot tub growing up, not to brag, for a couple years. And my mom would never want to go in after my dad because she'd be like, "Ugh, all his skin cells are probably floating on the top of that. He had very dry skin."
And you
And
get out and it's like you're wearing a new coat.
It's like you're wearing a new coat. And so my mom and I stopped going in, and then we ended up getting rid of this, giving the hot tub away. Anyways.
And then you stand there, you're like, it puts the lotion in the basket.
Yeah, or it gets the hose. Then we'd spray him off with the hose.
Dad gets the hose again when he goes into the hot tub.
But basically, like a snake, every 2 to 4 weeks, we shed our entire body. So 1,000 bodies worth in a lifetime of skin. Underneath your skin lies a vast network of blood vessels. Spread out, this network of veins, arteries, and capillaries would extend over 100,000 miles. That's long enough to wrap around the Earth's equator 4 times, just one body. And through those blood vessels, the heart pumps about 7,500 liters of blood every day. That's an estimated 215 million liters throughout your lifetime, or enough to fill up 86 Olympic swimming pools.
That's insane, right?
That's insane.
That's crazy.
The red color in your blood comes from hemoglobin proteins and iron. You get that iron mainly from your diet, which is then absorbed into your bloodstream from your gut. You know what's really good for iron that I remember from like one of those cardboard science fair experiments where the student put magnets in a bunch of different wet foods and saw what iron? Pineapple juice.
Interesting.
Good smelling juice too. Anyway. There was no need for that. The average adult will have 3 to 4 grams of iron at any time. Yeah. That's equivalent to the amount of iron that you soak in during your lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
That's 10 standard iron nails.
Okay.
I'm skipping the iron round. Your fingernails, folks. It's too much. I got jizz on the brain.
That's what it means when you're tough as nails, I guess.
I guess it does. Your fingernails grow at a snail's pace compared to your hair. Your hair grows 12.5 millimeters per month, unless you're cons. It doesn't grow at all. Or chaps,
That's
really.
Yeah.
So over a lifetime, 12 meters of hair.
We're fucking still looking like Cousin It, baby. We're good.
Anyways, saliva, your spit. You produce an average of 1 liter a day. That's enough to fill 39 4-person hot tubs. That my dad's sitting in one of them. Believe it or not, you actually produce more mucus and snot each day than saliva, 1.4 liters, 54 hot tubs worth over your lifetime.
That's what I want to see. I want to be like, show me all that fucking mucus in my life.
Yeah. You want to see your own hot tubs.
Yeah. I want to see
the hot tubs in my life.
Soon we're getting into piss, and that's fucking fascinating.
Well, yep. All that liquid goes somewhere. So let's talk about the other end, our urine. The average healthy adult produces anywhere from 400 to 2,000 milliliters a day, 34,400 liters in a lifetime. That's 46 hot tubs of piss.
I would love to see that.
Well,
Just
so
love it.
I did a blog a while back about, I grew up in the Jackass area, Westchester, Pennsylvania area. So I was obsessed with all those guys, and Bam Margera from there. He's like, when I was coming up, he was like a big time. Like, we didn't have any celebs, but he was like a big time celeb. So I've always followed him. I've blogged about every little thing he does along the way. And a couple years ago, he has a farm out there, and he built this huge skate park, and he was going to throw this massive party. And all the skaters, for like a month or so leading up to this, anytime a skater had to poop or pee, he had a poopy pee hot tub in the skate park area. Jesus. And so when he threw the final party, they were going to give somebody like $100,000 to sit in the poopy pee hot tub and go fully submerged in the poopy pee hot tub.
Would you do that?
For 100K?
For 100K, I would in a second.
Absolutely.
Now that I have a kid, for sure. Yeah.
Freaking Andy Dufresne, he climbed through 5 football fields of that stuff for freedom. Of course,
and he was fine. He got to live at the beach.
In a second, I'm doing it.
Yeah, for 100K, honest to God, absolutely, I would. That's
for 100K, you could eject me straight up with the Ebola virus, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would absolutely go in that hot tub. But yeah, so he filled a hot tub with poop and pee. So that is a thing. Could go see one hot tub at least.
Great point, Kate. Let's move on to save rounds and alibis. Nick, we'll start with you.
I feel like this is one big save round, this show. So I'm just going to say, subscribe to that YouTube channel. We are knocking on the door of 10K. So appreciate everyone who's subscribed, but please go over. I mean, this show alone, this is great for video. You're going to want to see a lot of what went on here. So please subscribe and check us out here.
A lot of grown. You're missing out on a lot of grown tube. Hey, if you can't see what I'm doing, it looks like
jerking something off.
Both hands.
Should we get ZBT grown tubes?
Sure.
I got two things. Number one, last night there was a clip tweeted from the American men's soccer team, and our soccer team, I guess, is a lot better these days than it has been in years past. And I got like a bunch of soccer hardos coming at me because like this dude's, I don't know our team's player's name, sorry, but the guy made a play that he did it so well. It looked routine to me. Like I thought he was going to shoot, but then he like crossed up the defender, passed it for an easier goal. And people were like, yeah, that's hardly routine. I was like, all right, sorry, I don't know soccer, but apparently we have a good soccer team now. So I'm looking forward to the World Cup. And I didn't realize soccer hardos were a thing on the internet, but I guess there's a hardo for everything.
There's a hardo for everything.
Yeah.
I think the worst are barbecue hardos. Then Harry Styles hardos came at me pretty bad once.
Yeah.
That's tough.
And then lastly, Mel Kiper, his big board, top 25 biggest prospects in college football this year. Number 14, Andre Carter from Army, All-American, edge rusher. Don't be surprised if he goes in the first round next year. You heard it here first.
Whoa. There you go.
Excited about that. We're not used to seeing our names on lists like that. So that was pretty cool.
That is exciting. That is cool.
Yeah.
Good for him.
That's all I got.
Me. Well, if you're listening to this on June 3rd, it's my birthday.
Congratulations.
So like and
how
subscribe.
old are you this year? 34, right? 33?
Something like that. Early 30s.
32?
It's a mystery. Some people will never know. I used to be like, oh, who cares about your age? And now I'm like, just leave it at early 30s. Okay.
I turned 40 next month. Oof.
But you don't seem it. You seem like I feel like old people aren't supposed to be cool, and you're cool.
I mean, maybe I'm unique in this, but I think about my age now, and I think back to like when I was growing up and what my dad looked like at this age and felt like, and other older adults, and I don't know. I don't feel like that.
My dad was 55 at like 40. So
yeah. I look at other parents picking up their kids from daycare, and I'm like, oh my God, I don't look like that. And then I'm like, oh my God, they're younger than me. I do look like that, but worse. Wow. Oh my God. Wow. Holy shit. Just because I'm wearing a tie-dye shirt, it's not really tricking anybody.
I think I care as much about turning 40 because I do like a fun job. I think a lot of being 40, you're just like, oh man, I'm fucking whatever job you're in, you're kind of stuck in.
Yeah.
And you're just going in and grinding every day and looking at numbers and talking to people. I think having this job, I have like no anxiety about turning 40 at all.
Yeah.
And it's bizarre. I thought I would, but I don't care about it because I'm doing a more fun job now than I did at 25.
I would say this though, to anybody listening who feels stuck, I didn't get this job until I was in my 30s, and I thought once I was 25, I thought like life was essentially over and done and pay for me, and that's so not. It's never too late to change and switch things up.
I was 34 when I got this.
Yeah, it's never too late. So to switch things up and do something you love and try and finagle things out. For me, what else? Oh, so I'm going down to Party Pegs for the weekend in Wildwood. I'm taking the baby.
Parm?
She's making chicken parm. She's got my pork roll, egg, and cheesers ready to go. She's doing barbecue ribs for me with corn on the cob when I get down there.
Is it beach house weekend or no?
Wildwood. Oh yeah, buddy. We're going down to Wildwood. The only place I've ever seen the cops break up a domestic dispute on the beach at a town next to me. So I'm really looking forward to it.
That'll be pretty sweet.
The only place I've seen people anchor their tubes to the seafloor so they can.
I want to give
beers.
For mine, I want to give a heavy heart to all the listeners. Unfortunately, tomorrow is the last day of school. So that means from time to time while we're recording, there will be a 9-year-old that pops in and asks me if they can have a snack or some shit like that for the next 8 or 9 weeks, which is always something.
Yeah.
Huh. It's going to be rough. Anyways, we'll be back here next week with some new topics. Be back into the military news. Thanks for sticking with us. We'll see you guys again next week. It's on the retreat.